Okay, hey everyone. We are here with Hayley and Jesse, the creators of Frayed Ally,
That's right.
a game we got to play at PAX this year. Callum and Nathan couldn't make it today, but yeah, it's a game we really enjoyed, and we got the opportunity to play it, and now we got the opportunity to talk to you guys about the origins of the game and stuff like that. Before the recording, we were just talking about how um, it's Frayed Ally, but it could have been Frayed Alley with an E. And I
Yes.
think both names work.
Yes. We were tossing up between the two names. We liked the name. Well, we liked both of them really, but the first one we stuck with Ally because it made more sense in the game. Because the name Frayed Ally, so you start off as sort of allies as you play the game, and then as you start to backstab people, and it sort of changes up to that.
The
Yeah,
alliance has become Frayed.
Yeah.
And obviously,
the
Frayed relates to the clothing brand that we have as well. But
yeah.
yeah, it's set in Frayed Alley. So that also could have been the name.
Okay.
So
So yeah, because it's Sewer City. It's like the alley, it's like Crime Alley. It's like this
yeah.
kind of
Did you
scrappy.
also notice sewer can be said like sewer for sewing as
Oh,
well?
So it's got that
that's
everything has that sort of double
yeah,
meaning.
yeah, because I noticed all your character names have like yeah, clothing terms. Actually,
yeah.
that's where we'll start because your guys' company is called Button Fox,
Mhm.
and it's like a fashion, you make like custom clothing and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's where we originated,
Mhm.
making clothing.
Like how did that start? And then how did you kind of go from fashion into making this card game?
Ooh. So I guess I started as the character first. So it was Button Fox. I was working on a children's book at the time. I did a short
Okay.
course.
And if we started a business, we always wanted a mascot. We
Yeah.
thought that's just to have this little character. It sells products well for one, but it's just people get
Memorable.
invested in characters, I think.
Yeah,
So
I did game design before we even started the business as well. So I'm all about making characters. And so I had this character idea. And then when we first got together, we sort of had our own businesses. So I was doing design and she was doing corsetry, which is
I
even,
studied costume design, so
yeah.
and I really loved corsetry, but not business minded at all. Still not.
Corset
So I didn't want to do it by myself.
For the layman, corsetry assumedly comes from corset, which is
Yeah.
what, like
Yes.
dressmaking?
So specifically undergarments like corsets,
Oh, so
foamed
literally
corsets.
corset.
Yeah, literally
Okay.
corsets. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's
All
cool.
custom made to order.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we started doing our own things, and then as we got together, we sort of instead of sort of doing it by ourselves, we wanted to kind of combo the two together, and sort of that's where our business came to be.
The very
Mm.
first products we made were Jesse started designing fabrics. He did it, I think a Mario fabric was one of the ones he first did.
Mm.
And then I thought, I'm going to make some stuff out of this. So I made some hair bows, I made some book
You
covers.
made curtains for me at one
Yeah.
point,
Yeah. So
and
that's
then
how
we
we
took it
started.
took that
Yeah.
stuff to conventions. Like we made little hair bows and stuff, and they did really well. And that sort of evolved to making hoodies.
So
And
originally we started obviously in the small crafts.
yeah,
They were just easy, fast, not too complicated. But then as time went on, obviously our passion's always been in clothing, but I was always like, I don't want to make the same thing over and over and over again.
Mm.
Never wanted to really do fashion. But then I always loved it. And then I kind of got convinced through Jesse. We did one cape for our first Kickstarter, which was the Button Fox plush toy, and then we saw how much people liked them, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll do it.
Fine.
So I got talked into doing more and more, and then people just started loving them. That's now what we're known for, and then that's slowly going into hoodies. It's going into jackets, and
Mm.
everything is much more complicated now. But I got convinced from
But
that one item of
yeah,
clothing.
but it's not like you do like a mass produced, it's all
no,
custom, like
Yeah, still
single.
short batches. So occasionally, like a
Okay.
lot of most things are one off, but then we
Mm.
do batches of, say, a Sonic hoodie
like we'll
or
do 10 of them, sort of
yeah.
thing, or
Mm.
Mm,
just like very limited.
mm.
I did, yeah, Jesse's bomber jacket with the Frayed Ally logo.
Oh
We were
yeah,
we were admiring that
We've got
at
the
PAX.
official one to show you as
I'll
well if
grab
you
one.
want.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
based on the reception we got from PAX, lots of people said, I really want that jacket. And
Yeah.
I wasn't planning to do it with them. It was just our uniforms to show off the artwork and all the branding. But then from that, I was like, I guess I have to do them. So I do enjoy making the jackets.
It's your own fault for being, you're both so talented. And then
oh, thank you. Well, Jesse's just going to model it for you now.
Modeling.
So it's not the greatest camera right now to model it.
Oh no, it looks fine. Yeah, it's really cool.
And then we've got so you got 5 pockets. You got
nice
2 welt pockets, 2 flat pockets, and then you got a secret inner pocket there.
Oh, perfect.
And they're all going to be numbered as well. So they'll all be limited. So they'll say which number they are.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm definitely...
Might as well wear it for this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I saw that. And then I saw on your Instagram, you had like your other bomber jackets. I'm like, I need one of those. And then I saw a Mighty Boosh hoodie. And I was like, well,
a one-off for a friend we made.
Yeah. We've had like a lot of random stuff throughout the years, but it's where we really get our passion. We get to do just unique projects all the time.
Fun, yeah. So from that, like the character of Button Fox, he's, I guess, your mascot for your clothing brand and, you know, making cool bits and pieces. And then you were like, hey, he's a cool character. Let's make a game about him. Was that?
Yeah. So it kind of, there's I guess there's more to
just
that.
Breathe first. Yeah. Think about your story first. He's going to cut this up, I'm assuming. He screwed this up in our other interview, so he was like spewing. He's like, ah.
Yeah, I know. I struggle with like getting put on the spot with what I want to say, but I guess when we did our Kickstarter, 2014-15, which was a long time ago, we did a plush toy, and then we had ideas for other characters then. So they were already sort of
so for us, I think the fox, the cat, the wolf, the bunny and the monkey were all original characters we had from the very start. Yep. We just thought we kind of introduced them in like plush toys. We did the cat and we were trying to do the bunny, but we just thought it's much smarter to focus all our energy on one character. Like we're doing a very hard thing. We are trying to start a original character-based business, which is so impossible in an industry that is so just based on fan art and already realized fandoms. So we thought it's better to put all of that
we decided, or I think I decided, I convinced you at the time that we should just focus on one, because
I was sad.
That being like there's so many, it's going to be very hard for people to get attached to that one character. So we just stick with the one, and then if that does well, then we can think about the other ones.
And then fast forward 10 years later, and so now it's the time.
And then the whole idea for a game, I guess, came from, as we've been driving to conventions, we do them like 20 or so a year. At the time, we were in the car a lot of the time and just discussing ideas and building the story of where Button Fox came from.
You already had a cast of characters.
Yeah. And so we were like, each character has where they sort of arrive within the world and how they meet each other and all that sort of stuff.
So we basically have a TV show script in our head already. Like we know they all have origins, they all have backstories. I was going to say, this
needs to be an animated series.
That's the dream.
Eventually.
Jesse, do you do all the artwork? Who does the...
No, I did the concepts. So back in
the day, yes.
Back in the day I did
doing all of that. Yeah.
But I decided to focus more on the design part, because if you don't do art full time, it's never going to be as good as you want it to be. And my vision is it goes beyond what I can do at the moment.
Because our business has always been just us. So running that, like I basically sew, and that's my main job. So Jesse does everything else, social media, running the website.
Like every little thing that we do, you could probably have you could pay someone to do that role. Yeah. And so we're trying to do too many things.
So I think how long ago do you think we got artists? How long ago has it been? Like we've worked with lots of different artists. Like we had Rye Spirit, who's a great artist. We've had drawings of Pokemon, who's also just done her own Kickstarter with her partner.
And now Hurricane.
Yeah.
So we've gone through like a lot of different, and then we always get fan art too when we did conventions, and we just love the different interpretations of our character. But I don't know.
Yeah. That's what's so great is like you've created these really strong characters that as immediately as soon as you see them, people are just gravitate. It's like, I want that on a shirt. I want to draw that. I want to, and then for you to create a world of those characters, I think it's going to take off
I mean, I
like-
hope so.
Yeah.
We've already got our obviously our base audience that already are really invested in Button Fox, so they're already there. But definitely expanding that audience. I feel like over the 10 years, we've built a small audience, but they are very loyal. But it is still small, so we're hoping that this will open us up to the gamer audience
and I think
more.
this is the first time we've focused on the characters. Like it's always been on the sort of back burner, whereas clothing's been the thing that we've pushed because that's how we make a living. And so we'll do little subtle things to add them to the clothing, like the ears on the hoods and everything, or the appliques. But it's really nice to actually get that time because we had kids. We've got given extra time through COVID too. I got given that extra time to like work on that, and it got to a point where we were very close to getting a finished product. And so Hayley said, you know, focus on that, get that done, and then we can tick it off, and hopefully people are going to enjoy it as well.
Because it is a passion project. Obviously, we hope it does really well. It's hopefully going to change our life. We've been struggling artists for a long time. But yeah, it is definitely a passion project, especially for Jesse. It's his baby. It's his third child.
I think that's what I'm most passionate about, the character side, and the clothing's always been more of your passion. And so it's nice to finally push that.
I think the passion comes across. So I think that really helps to endear people to it. I want to talk about like the characters in the universe more later, but I guess we should explain. So you've got the characters and you're like, let's make this game. Why a card game battle royale specifically? And can you explain like the gameplay or the general idea of how the game works?
Yep. So I have a background in game design, but I'm limited on what I'm able to do myself. Like we're a very small team. So I've got me as the designer, and then we've got Hurricane as the artist. There's like, I had to avoid things like programmers and stuff because I'm not a programmer, and then we would have to outsource that. And we're very limited on the funding we can actually have to even work on this game. So that was sorry?
I think he's asleep. I might go try and put him to sleep.
Oh, you want to put him to sleep?
It'll only take
Sorry, is that okay if we
That's
interrupt?
fine, that's fine. For audio listeners, the baby's fallen asleep.
Passed out.
All this talk of board games, so boring.
Hopefully they build a passion in the future, you know?
Yeah.
What was I saying? So yeah, we had limitation. I don't know if you want me to keep going now.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So we had limitations of what we could do. And so we chose a board game because it seemed more doable. So it's like, I've got the design part, right? It's just a matter of being able to produce it. And if you have a programmer, there's more people you have to outsource, or sound design and all that sort of extra stuff. Whereas, yeah, it just seemed doable as a card game. And what was the other question you had?
Just explain the gameplay.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
How does it work?
Wait, Hayley's coming back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll wait for it and then we'll do the...
Oh, that was easy.
There we go. So next time when the baby can't get to sleep, just play him my voice. And
we'll have this recording in the background.
Yeah, just straight away.
And so was it how to play games that you said?
Yeah, what's the gameplay? Yeah, how do you
do the spiel?
So
how does the game work?
Okay, so basically you start off with a random crafty character. Each player doesn't know who they are until later in the game. So you reveal this character once you're 1 hit point from dying. And so you're at your most vulnerable, but at that point you're also at strongest, because each character has a unique quirk that kind of keeps them in the game. And so all the rivals have 4 HP except for the fox, who has 5. It's exactly the same as the wolf. And so as you're sort of taking damage each turn, once you get that 1 point away, you kind of discover who's there. And depending on what characters are in the field, there's a slightly different way to win the game.
And each type of character has a different way to win the game.
Yes.
So if you're a rival, you're trying to defeat the foes, but you want to land the last blow on the wolf in order to be victor.
But the fun part about the game is you don't know if there is a villain in play. And if that's the case, it becomes a classic battle royale. And then there's also things like action cards. So they're like sort of bonus actions or things that enhance your turn. So you can use them before, if it's a defensive card, before or after your turn at any time. Whereas if it's an offensive card, it's used on your turn to enhance your play. And And there's also traps, which make the game like sort of the unpredictability of it. Whereas you could be the best player, but if you're just happen to pick up that bomb, it could like
Boom. Yeah.
Dead.
take damage. You're not dead, but you take damage. But if you're 1 hit point from dying, there where it becomes very like dangerous.
Also, I don't think you mentioned about how to win if you're the villain.
Oh, so if you're the villain, you just want to kill everyone. The minion has the same sort of role. He's helping the villain, but all the rivals, you want to do that final blow.
It's random, so it's you pick your character. You don't see who it is until.
No, you know who it is. No one else knows who you are. Yeah,
that's like you could all be rivals, and in that case, you just have to fight each other out.
Yeah.
But if you're a villain, you have to kill everyone else.
Yes.
Or a minion, you have to. So it's like it can be like 3 versus 1, or could be.
So I guess that's
4.
where there's sort of the title of the game comes in, like Frayed Ally. So you're sort of allies in the way that you're trying to discover who's on the field. And then once you discover like there's a villain, then you realize I want to be the one who does the final blow. But then you don't want to kill rivals too early, because if you do that and the villain does get revealed, or there's a minion as well, the rivals have no chance of winning, because it's just
no chance. It's just really hard.
The chances are quite
always
low.
Chance. Yeah.
So that's why you've got the sort of an alliance in a way. But in the end, you're all for glory. You want to win by yourself. You don't care about the other players. So that's where the allies are afraid.
Fragile alliance.
You
have to keep them in play so you're not on your own, but then really...
Yeah, you're sort of using them to get what you sort of want, your final goal.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And there's a few because it did always start quite basic. It's gone through quite an evolution since the basic, very D&D fantasy style game that we started with. They're all wearing capes and going on adventures.
Oh, yeah, I want to see that version.
It was really cool. We've actually, do we have the sketches that we're putting on the page? Are we actually putting them up?
The old ones?
Yeah.
Oh, we could.
So we started with, I don't know if you've heard of drawings of Pokemon. She's been around the con scene for ages, does anatomical drawing, like pencil drawings of Pokemon. So she was our original artist back 8 years ago when we started. Since then, she's become an amazing animator.
Works on some big TV shows, like animating. Yeah.
Yep. Did a Kickstarter for her video game with her partner that made over $100,000. So she, long story short, came way too busy. And so we moved on from them. And as that happened, our ideas evolved, changed style multiple times.
And then I guess the reason I didn't want to do fantasy, because I feel like, especially with like the characters, that sort of thing's been done before. Whereas the sort of street sort of angle that we're going for is a bit more unique.
And it's different. Where our clothing is now as well.
Yeah,
so we wanted them to overlap.
Our stuff's evolved, but I think that was one of the first reasons why we changed up styles, is because it was more unique and you could do more with it.
Modern fashion.
Yeah, whereas if you go with the fantasy thing, you tend to be maybe not copying, but you're getting a lot of ideas from things that already exist, like it's been done.
Yeah. I think it also works with the scrappy kind of like back alley brawl, like
yeah, defintthen.
Yeah.
As I was saying, sorry, I forgot to mention, because I got on a tangent. The gameplay mechanics. So the game itself was quite simple, but then even recently, like within the last few months, we introduced a few mechanics that we really like. So when you reveal someone for the first time, you get either positive things or negative things happen. If you
get like bonus action cards, which can be positive, or if you pick up a trap, it can be negative. So you take it as you will. And then there's also things like when you eliminate someone, you get to take their loot. So if they have any extra action cards in their hand, you get to take them. And those are things that you didn't need to have the game like play as it is, but it just enhances it.
Even the bombs, they're in the last year. Most of the really pivotal moments happened within the last year and a half, when we actually got the time to start full-time kind of working on it. Because before that, it was really on and off, really sporadic.
And it's funny because I had friends that were like, no, don't add stuff to it. Don't keep adding to it. Like, just have it finish it.
That was me too, yeah.
Yeah, like just finish it.
I'm like, it's fine. Stop changing it.
I've always been in the mindset like, no, if you can add more things, why not? Yeah, as well. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like, and you kept improving it, even though I'm like, it's good the way it is. Stop with it.
Especially
excuse me.
No, that's all right.
Stop screwing with it.
I guess with card games in particular, I've never designed one before. I've more had a sort of a digital game design background, and I guess when you play test it, and you can't know like one way to do it, sort of thing. Like, and maybe there is, but for us, it was just you have to play test it. Doesn't work, change it. That doesn't work, change it again until you finally tune it to be like, actually, that's really fun.
Yeah, you also want to be unique. You don't want to just make, oh, it's this game, but with our characters or
exactly. Like you can take things you like from games,
yeah,
but have your own twist on it, I
That's
suppose.
the interesting thing about us as game makers as well. I wouldn't say we're avid card gamers or board gamers.
That, yeah.
We like them. We have a family. We do not have much time to do them.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that we are drawn to sort of casual games that you can just pick up. It doesn't take too much to learn. And I think that's where I wanted to design a game like that we can enjoy. And maybe people like us that might not play card games all the time can still pick it up, instantly learn, and have a lot of fun with their friends that are potentially, pro cardboard gamers.
So I think we have a very specific point of view because we also didn't have much outside influence from other games as well because of that.
Yeah.
So we've played a few that we enjoyed, and obviously we've had influences from our friends who have played lots of games and said like, oh, hey, this is a really good mechanic that I know is tried and true. Take little bits from that, but then we can alter it to how we like playing with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because it's always hard to get everyone together to play a board game, especially after COVID.
Yes.
And then you have to learn the rules and put out all the pieces in the board and whatever. But what we liked about when we played Frayed Ally was like, it was quick to learn. It's also a fast-paced game. So I was likening it to Uno, where you're just slamming down cards.
Yeah.
It's just like reverse on you. Oh, draw 4. Oh yeah, reverse. And we were saying it's like, the Frayed Ally name is very apt because it's like it'll create like a lot of tension. Like Uno, it destroys friendships.
Yes,
but you slowly unravel the whole.
But also you play with your friends and you're like, oh, this is awesome. Let's go again, and then you hate each other, and you're like, but let's
and it's funny how fast it happens because I'll notice like I'll be like, hey, that's the wolf, I'm the pig. Like, oh, sorry, I'm the villain, and they're the minion, and then you kind of like, oh yeah, and you just instantly bonded in that game and then turned around the next one when you want to kill each other.
When we play tested at PAX, I discovered that whenever you got a group of like mates playing it, they had the best fun. Like they wanted to screw each other over. They were being spiteful, like they're just gang up on someone. Whereas when you had there was other games where people that didn't know each other, they bonded more. They became friends. And I got the comments saying like, oh, this is actually a very social game. Like, I feel like we could be friends after this sort of thing.
So it brings strangers together, but it rips friendships apart.
Which is fun. Like to see that different dynamic.
There's a frayed stitching metaphor that I can't put together about that.
Definitely.
So like you were saying, like you because you're not super avid game, like board game and stuff like that. Are there any specific inspirations both with the fashion and with the game?
Well, we really liked Werewolf. I know there's a few like correlations between them, but there was lots that we didn't like about it because we like deceptive games. We don't like when that's a really big part of the game. We always found that really awkward when you start. You're trying
you're trying to lie to someone. But whereas I guess with our game, it's subtle. You you don't have to do that if you're not into that. You don't need to do that part of it.
We just like that fact of you don't know who everyone is. I guess. You
don't have to actively try to convince people you're not who you are, like what character.
Obviously, with fashion, we're really inspired by Japanese streetwear. That's always
that's
kind
where
of
it sort of originated from. Like we've been to Japan a few times and just love their fashion there. I don't know.
And random animes and things like that. But specific ones, like as far as games, not really. Like
I guess I'm like, I'm a big Super Mario fan and stuff like that. So I like the sort of easy, fun sort of games. And I guess that's a big inspiration for our game. I want it to be like a, like a Mario World sort of thing, but it's like our own Sewer City characters.
Strong iconography, strong characters, strong colors.
But I guess throughout our journey of everything we've done, we've always been in this situation where we feel like it sounds big-headed and it sounds weird, but we've always been in this situation where no one's doing what we're doing. So, which is great, but also it leaves you a bit lost sometimes when you're like, we don't have someone to take some inspiration from, where we can take little things, but we'll be designing things that don't exist. So we're like,
that's definitely the tough part where you're like, oh, are we doing it the right way? And then like you're trying to do research on like like what to do, and then you're like, I can't find anyone doing what we're doing, which is a great thing, but it makes it hard as well.
Yeah, you're
I don't know,
feeling a
Paving the way.
void, but the first one, they're exactly paving the way.
Obviously, there could be some people out there, but just not that we know of.
Like we've had our game compared to Exploding Kittens,
yes,
with the like the bombs and stuff,
which we still haven't played.
We haven't played before. We have heard of it, but
I don't think we've played it.
I don't think we have. We haven't had friends that have played it.
Yeah, I've never played it. I've never played it, but I'm just going to say that your game's better.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Your characters are cooler anyway.
Thank you.
Speaking of like all the characters and all their names, like they have, like we were saying earlier, the names are all based on sewing terms or clothing terms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love those little character models you had. Oh yeah, you've got them there. Yeah, so they're these cool. Please tell me those are going to come with the final product. And
they are an add-on, basically. Okay. We didn't want to make the base game too expensive. So if they were in there, it's going to be like over $100 game.
The fun part about those is they were like we didn't even think about them until
for use in the game.
Yeah, for use in the game until we were going to PAX and we wanted to, I guess, I don't know, I don't even remember why we made them.
I don't remember how it started. It was very late in the game. Like we were kind of like, because for our last few Kickstarters, the first one was crazy. We made every single reward and there were so many rewards and I hated myself, obviously. So we decided to dial it back a little bit for the second Kickstarter, which was our cape, but still was a little bit like out of control.
We were hand making everything.
Yeah, so we started
very hard.
Yeah, so we started with this one with like mindset of let's make it simple. Like let's not do too many things.
I think the standees were, because on the cards you only see a portion of the characters,
which has changed. It wasn't like that before.
Yeah, we've sort of zoomed it out a little bit, but you still don't see the full picture. And the artwork's so great that we were like, oh, let's try and figure out something to make. And then we made those standees. It's just like a placeholder just to show it can PAX.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Like you can see.
That's my boy.
Yeah, so if you compare that to that, so they used to be the whole character, but then we zoomed it out.
Zip the green monkey. That's the one. So when we sat down at your table and you were like giving out the cards and saying, oh, the characters are random. I'm like, damn, I wanted the green monkey. And I looked at my card and I was like, yes.
Trying to compose yourself.
Yeah, I was like,
I guess that's what I love as well.
That's part of the game too.
Yeah.
Like people say who their favorite character is, and the characters I didn't even think would be as popular as they are.
Yeah.
But it's great to see it's kind of equal in popularity.
Definitely.
Like a lot of different people like the different characters.
Yeah. So yes, you will be able to get the standees. Again, we didn't make them to be placeholders, but then we're like,
so as we were playing at PAX and stuff, that's when people were like, they loved having it in front of them. And then we sort of worked out like, actually, this could be really great for the game.
Yeah, when I quote unquote won that match, because I mean we were still learning, and Jesse and was it Dan who?
Yeah, my brother Dan.
Out? Yes, he was helping out, and like we were playing, and so I technically won, even though it was, you were telling me what to do. But then
still counts.
At the end, I had my little green monkey,
like a trophy.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he's so cool.
And I think a fun part as well, when people eliminate each other, you can kind of knock them over.
Yeah,
and it's like a physical thing you can do.
Very visual. Yeah,
I think that's the best use of it. Is you get that final chess checkmate.
Yeah, we've also got so these are the skull tokens. You would have seen them.
Yeah.
At the event, these ones. So they're just like card. What you would regularly get.
We had them at the event.
We didn't have these.
No. You guys had the wood.
Oh.
Yeah, we had wood ones.
Okay, do you want to see the upgrade?
Oh yes, please.
So these are going to be again an add-on. It's going to be a stretch goal. I don't know where they are.
Do you want to see it? I don't know where they are.
But I mean, they're somewhere obvious.
The base. So the base game is just the card game.
Yep. Okay. No, it still comes in. So it comes. Yeah. So we didn't have this then as well. So this is the box.
Yeah.
So it comes with the tokens that'll be under the 2 decks of cards.
Oh yeah, the tokens.
And then it also comes with. Damn it, the playing mat's not here either.
So we've got ideas for stretch goals as well. So these are the sort of metal tokens we've got prototyped.
Nice.
sort of see them. I don't know.
And they're like textured, like yeah.
Yeah, textured. They got like sort of.
If you know, like soft enamel pins.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like that.
Pins, yeah.
In like a nice little bag.
Yeah.
And so this is the game mat that it's going to come with. So that's a
cool.
rubber mat. That'll be a stretch goal. So the original one's going to come with the card mat. And the first stretch goal is to unlock this, which we haven't actually revealed to anyone. So there you go.
Exclusive. Choose that review exclusive. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So
it's less than a week away.
Yes.
Until we go
actually,
live
yeah,
on
we're going to
Kickstarter.
release this episode on the day. So it'll probably
nice.
Oh, amazing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that'll be automatically upgraded. So we wanted to balance between making sure people felt like they were getting value. So things are just added automatically. So we've got some pins as well that people are going to get via just supporting the Kickstarter. But then we also wanted the opportunity to be able to make things that, because we can't just add like a really expensive add-on automatically that comes with it. So we're kind of trying to balance.
It's been actually a hard balance of trying to work out like what to include, what not to, like, because you still need to pay. It needs to pay for itself. And it was so kind of hard to work it out, but I think we've got it.
It's so it's like it's hard to not get excited about we could add this, and then there's like 20 other dudes, and then
because one of the big things that happened to us last Kickstarter or the one before that, both is the shipping. Like we ended up having to do a lot of it out of our own pocket.
Yeah, I think we paid for like
even people local to Melbourne. We delivered them ourselves.
We hand delivered. We
drove around and did a whole course to get their backers all their items, and so we're hoping to avoid that this year.
Yeah. So we've changed to we're hopefully going to use a pledge manager, so people will charge it afterwards. We don't have to think about it right now, which is great because it was just a mind bender
especially when you're dealing with international
sort of and you don't know what people have ordered, so you've got to work out every single shipping for every single place.
And if it takes a little bit to get the project manufactured, the prices can change too. And so you want to make sure we're not too out of pocket, because if we are, we're not going to be able to deliver it.
But that won't happen.
Yeah, that's why we've planned for it. So we've done 2 previous Kickstarters. We know the mistakes to fix for this one, and everything is going to run smoothly.
Third time's a charm.
Exactly. Exactly.
Definitely.
But I love speaking of like the characters, like were there any, and adding too much stuff and getting excited, were there any characters you had concept for that didn't make the game and who could potentially return in future?
So we've got our main 8 characters, but then hopefully for stretch goals, we're going to be releasing 4 more.
So 2 full booster packs.
Nice.
With extra playing cards.
So that also comes with extra action cards. And then there was another character that we decided to cut just because it was, I don't even remember why.
Well, it was mainly for the numbers. So it would end up being 13 characters. It was a really weird number. I think we couldn't quite get the quirk right as well.
And I think we wanted to
work on the design,
maybe save it for when we potentially do another booster pack with extra cards.
It was a deer. It's a character like we know is quite likable. So we do definitely want to pursue that in the future, but it just needs a bit more work. And just number wise, it didn't quite work out. So, and we've got in our heads like probably heaps of different animals we want to do. But lots of them.
There's so many ideas. That's the fun part. Like I've got all these ideas. I just want to have time to do them, sort of thing.
Well, hopefully when the animated series comes out, have all the characters and
yes, hopefully.
I want like the characters and like the expansions in future. I want to see more from the shared.
There's also going to be characters they were going to be characters, but then they instead going to be action cards. Weirdly, there was a couple of characters.
The curse one.
Yeah, they're going to be in the expansion pack, but there was going to be a crow, and there was going to be a bee. But they're now going to be just types of action cards. Because I don't know if I should go into
the bee is a very big component of our universe as a whole. So it was originally like we had a tiny little plush toy of the bee. That was going to be one of our characters, but it's so we put it on an action card now to represent life and health.
So that's why on all the characters there's a little that's that
the
shape.
hexagon.
It's like a honeycomb.
Oh, okay, yep.
And so there's a deeper lore to that we're not going to necessarily go
And
into
so these are
in the card
honeycombs
game.
at the top.
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
tell?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's shouldn't be showing that card.
Oh, that's.
I
I haven't seen that guy before.
And then they're all hexagons on there as well.
Okay.
So basically, there's a deeper lore to why that is, but we're not going to go into it in the card game. But hopefully, for future things, we can.
I was going to say that I want to learn more about the universe, and the growing.
So we're hoping maybe we'll do a comic or a book. Or something
comic.
like that.
Yeah, our artist has expressed interest in making a comic of the universe at some point, so that would be amazing.
Awesome.
So they're all potential things we can hopefully do.
I want to see, you've got such a rich, fertile thing with all the characters and the sewer city. So,
thank
you.
I can't wait for it to grow.
Rich, fertile sewer.
Rich, fertile,
Sorry, I'm like those words together. They're great. Yes, we're just making some
a lot grow. Yeah, a lot can grow there.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. We love our puns here.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully the anime and the video game isn't out of the realm of possibility in the future.
Hopefully not.
But yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself, let alone you guys. So, so yeah, you guys showed this at PAX this year. Was that the first time you'd showed it?
We've shown it,
like test played it, or
no? We've
to the
we've tested it with friends and obviously, but to the public, we did an anniversary event to celebrate 10 years of crafting for our Button Fox business in May. Yeah, so this year.
Yeah, so there was this very small group of people, but they were the first public people that got to play it.
And at that stage, it was still in quite not early development, but there was still not finished. Like, we're still testing things. Yeah, a lot happened, and we're testing things, and we figured things out just from that night.
So big thank you to all of our amazing playtesters that came that night. It was awesome.
Yeah, which was very crucial actually to getting it to where it is now,
and making you a bit more confident about it as well, because it's always a bit scary when you're just playing with your friends. You're like, they're just lying to me. Is it actually good?
They're just being
also,
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, when you play with your friends, they already know how the game sort of plays. And they've got in their head, like, they don't need to understand the card because they know what it does. Whereas when you play with the new people, you need to work out how to use that card.
Yeah, what's complicated to understand? What do you need to simplify?
Yeah, and so I've worked out I need to make sort of like a glossary of what these words mean, and like add little things on the card so people can understand when they can use it or when they can't. And
interestingly, as far as showing the game, we were originally supposed to show it in 2020. Was our first booked PAX. We were ready to go, but
that was
luckily
my first PAX as well.
Yeah, but luckily for us, we just wouldn't have done it. A lot of things would have suffered. Did we even have Hurricane then? I don't even know. Like, I feel like all the art has happened after that.
It's changed a lot since then.
Yeah,
so every time we've kind of come back to it, it's become a different game. So what we would have released, 3 years ago would probably be different game to what it is now. Yeah, like our interests sort of changed a little bit, and it just naturally evolved to what it is now. Definitely. And I guess if I don't release it now, in another 5 years, keep working on it, it'll evolve into something different. Yeah. You know what I mean?
True.
I can't remember who it was, but a director once said, film is never finished, it's only abandoned. So I think like you get
interesting.
I think you always want to add more. And then you just at some point you just have to.
And that's almost more fitting for a game, because a game is ever expandable.
And that's the thing, you can always add more in the future. So you can't really add on to the goal.
And there's a lot of ways. If you change one thing, it changes the game completely. So that's happened a lot. And I think we've got to a point where we're happy with, but I could still completely change a mechanic. And
if you gave him a couple of months,
you know what I mean? Like, it's very easy to do that.
Stop.
The expansion will actually retcon the first base game. So
I think that's a fun thing. Hopefully, once we add more characters, you'll be in the position where you can just choose who you want to put in. So you can choose your 8 characters that will randomly go in.
Yeah.
And if you're like, I don't really like this character, or I like these characters, so I want to make sure they're in the game because they're really fun to play with.
It's a very character-driven game.
Yeah. So hopefully once, we add more and more and more and more characters, people will just play with what they resonate with the most.
And it's a lot of fun with the expansions that we've been working on. It adds more minions to the game, so more chaos. And the same with the action cards, it's more chaos. So as much fun you will have with the base game, you're going to have a lot more fun with the expansion because
definitely
there's so many things that can screw you over, or you can just like combo and get some really fun results.
That's what I was saying with is that Uno is just stacking. So and it gets faster and more furious.
And that's the funnest part about it, seeing the different like counters people do.
Yeah.
Because people legit think they've won. They'll sit there like, there's literally no way I can lose here. And then,
I've had people laughing. Over. They're like, haha, I just screwed you over. And then they pick up a bomb and they're just like,
or deflect.
Yeah, or whatever.
That's when the table gets flipped and everyone has to go home quiet and not talk about
But I guess the good thing about it, since it's so short, you quickly reload, you try again.
No one's sitting there being salty for too long.
Because we've got some salty friends, so.
Not me.
So you showed it at PAX, and I'm assuming that was a big deal and helpful to. Has anything? So when was that? A month ago?
Yeah, about a month ago.
2 months ago. Yeah. Has anything major changed, or you're just like we're kind of in the end game?
We didn't find any problems. I think mainly what we learned is about the glossary and the definitions. Is that maybe a few words needed to be changed, especially on the cards. But we didn't actually encounter problems, which to me is mind-blowing. And I think the most it did was for Jesse's confidence, to make him feel like, oh my God, like people actually like it and we might actually be successful.
So I was very stressed out about, is it going to work smoothly? Like, am I going to have to like, I don't know, change it drastically? But I came out of it feeling quite confident in it, which is a completely opposite thing that I thought would happen. Like I was so scared, to be honest.
I know that feeling. I'm my own worst critic as well. So it's good,
especially when you've been working on something for so long. Like having that little bit of relief from that feels pretty good.
Take it from me. It's definitely good stuff. So
thank you.
So after PAX, is there any other conventions or play testing or events?
We went to Armageddon in New Zealand. I did.
By yourself.
Which was basically just, I didn't get to play test it. I had a little artist sort of spot, and I was just sort of showing people and sort of telling them what the game was about. And I had a lot of interest there, which was great as well. Even though they didn't play it, they were very drawn to the art style.
I guess
which does its job.
Yeah, definitely. We've approached this whole thing a lot different to our past Kickstarters, because our past Kickstarter has been highly relied on conventions. We'd have at least 4 events on during the month of the Kickstarter, so we could just push that and
just get it in people's faces.
It worked really well. But with this, we kind of didn't have that opportunity. Our lives have changed so much with the 2 kids. My time has been cut in a third.
I don't know how you guys
basically.
And then our money's gone into the samples and everything that we've had to make. So we haven't been like, there's some conventions we could have done. We didn't have the money to do it because we've just invested so hard in making this game as best as it can possibly be. And so that's a bit of a risk in a way, like to us anyways, that we don't have that convention to give it to people's face. We have to rely purely online. And we just hope that the right people see it. That's where it's scary.
And obviously we told you, I think, that our launch date was supposed to be PAX. The start of PAX, that was when we were supposed to release the Kickstarter. But we just did not do the advertising. We thought, I think Jesse had that mindset of like, no, give the urgency. Like, let people know a week before Kickstarter is going to be out in a week and people just have to buy it. But we just thought, we've been so inactive on our social media because we've been doing this that we just didn't have the propulsion that we needed. So we made I think it was like less than a week beforehand.
I think the week of,
it's not going to happen.
I had a talk with Hayley. I'm like, look, we don't even have our samples yet. We don't have like this sort of thing's not working. Maybe it's a sign that we just delayed a little bit longer.
And it was heartbreaking because I think since its conception, we were like, PAX. Like maybe a few years after we started, we're like, this will be perfect. This will be our end PAX. Like because
so many people go to these events.
And so it was to relinquish that idea that we're going to release it was a big thing for us. And I think I was really not on board at the start, but I saw how much it was affecting Jesse. I'm like, oh my God, stop being selfish, just do what he needs to do. And it worked out really well. It meant we could just solely focus on advertising and showing it rather than stressing about what the Kickstarter's doing, stressing about having to work on the page and make sure it's running correctly.
This isn't ready yet.
Obviously there's not going to be, everything's not going to be completely ready. Like I've just got to accept that. But basically what I'm doing is I'm showcasing what it is. And then I'm going to have a little bit of time as it's being manufactured to do those things. Which is what Kickstarter is all about. It'll help me, I guess, get the funds to do those development sort of stages to get exactly right. And I guess doing that convention just gave me the confidence to be like, no, we can do it online. It's possible. Because so many people were like, no, I'm definitely doing it. I'm definitely jumping on. And I've had constantly people asking me, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? So I feel like there's a good sign that it'll do well.
And I have a view of like our business moving forward. We hope Frayed Ally becomes a big part of who we are, like as an identity business wise, because it's so character based. So we want to release clothing, we want to release merchandise, all to do with these characters. And then we also still want to do our handmade clothing, but it just be a part of our income rather than our whole income. Because it's been a lot to obviously rely on me making everything. I've had a helper the last couple of years coming in and helping cutting and sewing. There he is. But it's been really tough.
Okay.
It's just gonna be crying in the back.
Sorry, one sec. Baby's awake.
Right. It is interesting though with social media how like there's just so much going on all the time. Like it's overwhelming and it's so much work to always be on, like having an online presence.
Active is very difficult.
And I found it interesting going to PAX and actually talking to people face to face. I was just like, oh, this is still the best way to sort of do it.
Definitely. I think that's for us. Whoops, sorry, one sec. For us, conventions has always been how we've advertised. So even though you're paying for your space, you're able to see so many people, and just people that don't necessarily, they might not find or might not think they're interested. When you start to talk to them, they're like, wait, that is something I'm really keen for. And then you can have that discussion where online you might not even have the chance.
Well, because even when we're doing our clothing, we're only showing a tiny fraction of what we're doing because we make so many different items. So once you start that conversation, it comes out, oh, wow, yeah, that's something I'd be interested in, but you're not necessarily showing it at the time.
Yeah, it's hard, like you get the TikTok bite, like the little video or whatever, and it's like, wow, that's cool, like, and move on. But I think I think it's the same thing with the little character models. It's that tangibility of like actually having a connection, seeing it and having a connection. And I mean, I'm someone who's like, I don't want to talk to anyone, leave me alone. But like going to the convention,
you're in the wrong industry.
No, exactly. And that's why like PAX was like the first time I was like going out and like interviewing people and talking to people face to face. I'm like, oh, this is still the best way to just make connections and understand where people are coming from and what they've got going on.
So I think you can kind of get out of touch with the whole like 1 second flick. Whereas like,
and it has felt like that for us being away from events. We do feel irrelevant a little bit.
There's definitely times where you work hard on doing like a post or something and doesn't do well. And you're like, you feel very down because you know what I mean? Like it's very tough being like a creator in that sort of world.
Social media is can be
brutal.
Icky.
It's toxic.
Brutal. But in saying that, I guess it's really necessary, especially when you're trying to promote something. And
definitely has its opportunities as well.
So the Kickstarter starts on Tuesday. November 14th.
That's
And we're starting at 8 a.m. AEDT.
Is that the time? 8?
Okay. 8. It's a look. We're really weird about the time. Like I don't know what's the time.
I've thought 8 or maybe 10 because we have 2 kids. So one of them goes to daycare, and I was thinking like potentially do it then. That way we've got our focus. Whereas if it's at 8, we're out maybe something's not right. I'll have to fix it.
But I feel like 8 a.m. is a good time because it's like just before people might go to work, so they might have a chance to look at it before then.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then we wanted to make it an okay time for the US as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's like 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. depending if you're in the East or the West Coast. So we thought like that's not in the middle of the night or anything. So
we haven't got a locked in exact time, but between 8 and 10, I'd say.
Okay.
I haven't committed to it yet.
Okay.
But it is the 14th.
Yeah,
yes, definitely
the
14th. Yeah.
Yeah. So this episode, when listeners hear it, should be on the 14th. So they should be able to see the Kickstarter.
What time do you usually release it?
We go live at 6 p.m. on Tuesday night.
Awesome.
And then we release the podcast like Wednesday afternoon. So that'll be like the 15th. So by that time, the Kickstarter will be live.
It'll be funded by then. So just have your hopes right up there.
I really hope it's one of those things where you see the banner where it says funded in 3 hours.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Hope so.
That was our glider cape got funded in 48 hours. So just fingers crossed, but you can't have them too high. You don't want to be dashed too much.
Yeah, so this is a completely different thing for us. So
very different.
That's why I'm a bit nervous because, we're used to making clothing or whatever, and this is sort of out of our realm normally. So hopefully our followers still want to support that.
I think they've, like you were saying earlier, you've got that community already built and like the character of Button Fox, and he's like the mascot, and now you've got all the other characters. Like I think it's just even people who don't play card games are like, oh, this is a cool world and expansion of the thing I already am interested in.
Definitely.
I hope so, yeah. Kickstarter should be up when this episode is out, so make sure to go to the Frayed Ally Kickstarter, which will link.
There's also a pre-launch page, so you can get notified.
Yes. Yeah,
not that it matters because it'll be live.
It's important if it's 8 or 10 o'clock. You know what I mean?
No, because it's going to be they're going live Wednesday.
Oh yeah, true.
Does not matter.
Yeah.
We'll link the what did you call it? The pre-launch page earlier, and then we'll release the episode at the same time, like to coincide with the launch. So definitely go to Kickstarter and definitely support Frayed Ally, and
your friends.
Yeah, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend.
Exactly.
Yes.
And get your grandma to make an account and
look, they'll have a great time.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for doing this. I know you're super busy.
No, thank you for
thanks
scheduling us in as well.
I really appreciate your time, and one day when things are not so hectic, we'll have to come down and like maybe do like a tour of your workshop and something like that, and I might have to steal one of those jackets. Or, I'll talk to Hayley about getting me a custom the green monkey zip.
Oh, there you go.
I think I'm gonna say like the Tuesday review on the back or something.
Oh no one wants that. No.
Oh, savage.
Thank you so much, guys. Do you want to plug your social media?
Just at BTN Fox is our main one.
Yeah, so
that's
Facebook,
on
Twitter.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and then we even have a Twitch, which is Button Fox.
We haven't been super active recently. We were doing it twice a week.
It's hard when we have kids, but we're trying to get back into it hopefully eventually once the sleeping schedules are all lined up.
Well, I think we were planning to go live the day of the launch, weren't we?
Yeah, I think we will.
So we'll be probably streaming our regular time.
Yep.
So 9 o'clock at night.
But basically, BTN Fox, all our socials is our tag.
Cool.
Yeah.
And make sure to go on the Kickstarter, support these guys with their awesome game, and good luck for the launch and the future. I can't wait to see more Button Fox and Frayed Ally.
Yes.
Stuff.
Yeah, hopefully you'll see the whole universe.
Yes.
As that's in my head. Hopefully comes out here eventually.
I want the franchise. I want the shared universe franchise.
Yeah, the Disney of
Yes.
Yeah. But thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, thanks
Alright.
so much, James.
Thank you so much.